Hello, and welcome to Twisted Carnival. No one knows where the Carnival of Curiosities will appear. Every 5 years, it's rumored to emerge from the very air. It can never be found by the same soul twice, and it is truly a once-in-a-lifetime experience. Catalina has been enthralled by the mystique of this transitory carnival filled with dark beauty, and one night she finds herself there, as if by magic. Eager to experience it all, she catches her attention of 4 alluring performers. Her enchanted night turns into a nightmare when she discovers the carnival has a dark side. Carnival goers go insane, attack each other, and mutate into alien-like horrors. Can Catalina survive or escape the Carnival of Curiosities before it consumes her? Like, you can't tell me that doesn't sound good. Like, you can't tell me. But, I do want to let you know. There is body horror, mature themes, cutting into a person's body, sacrifice, hostage at gunpoint, death, murder, surrounded by gore and killing, gleeful murder, captivity, attempted murder, triggers like eating gore, and just being surrounded by gore. Honestly, this might traumatize you. I'm just warning you now. But I'm here. I don't know who we're choosing first, but we're choosing somebody. I have a feeling it's going to be you. Or it might be you. So we will just have to see. So without further ado, let's get started. Her name's Catalina, which, she's adorable, by the way. Thank you. Look at her! She's so cute! I want her socks. Anyways. Okay, we did. Okay. Cool. What is that? Anyways. Festivities, bright lights, and colors greeted me at the entrance of the Carnival of Curiosities. The air buzzed with activity. In the distance, I could make out rows and rows of booths and sideshow tents of various sizes. I'm so lucky to be here. It's such a rare opportunity. The Carnival of Curiosities only happens every 5 years, and it's so exclusive that people say you can only ever see it once in your lifetime. I reached into my bag to make sure my trusty camera was still there. I had managed to sneak it in. Girl, we're gonna die! I hate when they sneak stuff in because I'm like, gosh darn it! I can't wait to capture as many of this rare carnival as possible. I walked around as if in a dream, taking in as much of the lively atmosphere and sights as I could. The sideshow tents were decorated beautifully with rich, vibrant cloth. The carnival workers bustled around. Game and food stalls were crowded. In a clearing, there was a giant statue of a man. A dazzling purple cloth was tied around its base. It almost seemed as if he were welcoming the carnival goers. It stuck out somehow from its surroundings, probably because it was the only statue and wrapped around it was the only purple item in sight. Upon closer inspection, I realized it looked like one of my mom's sculptures of my dad. How could one of mom's sculptures be here, though? Oh gosh, what is the lore? What lore do we have? Guys, we're gonna die. Feel it. Before I could analyze a statue further, the carnival worker interrupted my train of thought and jammed an itinerary in my hands. You look a little lost. Never fear. I'm here to guide you through the Carnival of Curiosities. Ah, thanks. I scanned the itinerary and there were multiple listings for various sideshows taking place tonight. There's a lot going on, How about I explain the main sideshow attractions? Because of the conflicting performance times, you'll only be able to see 2 of them tonight. So which performer do you want to hear more about? I'm gonna ask about let's go with the nicest and the most evil looking. So, the nicest. Casey the Acrobat Virtuoso is a dazzling display of agility, grace, and skill that will leave you breathless. Watch as he performs incredible feats of balance, strength, and coordination on the high wire, trapeze, and aerial wheel. He'll amaze you with his twists, flips, and spins that defy gravity and logic. Not to mention, many say he's as charming as he is talented. A real white knight. My eyes must be playing tricks on me. This can't be Casey, my close childhood friend, right? Girl, what? Okay, and then we're gonna ask about the one that looks like he will definitely kill us. Well, I can't put both. Okay, these are my top two, Obvi and Larv. So we're just gonna play right to left. Okay, so we're gonna go with the Lion Tamer. Leon the Lion Tamer Extraordinaire is a spectacular show of courage, charisma, and command that will astonish you. Witness as Leon roams free with the Lionel of the fiercest, most majestic lion in the world. Lionel obeys Leon's every command, from sitting, roaring, and jumping through hoops of fire. By the way, Leon's pretty easy on the eyes, a total stud. At least that's what others have said. Ask about Jude the Jester, Master Illusionist, is a marvelous show of mystery, humor, and terror that will delight you. Behold, as Jude performs astounding tricks of illusion, such as making objects disappear and reappear and change shape. He'll also entertain you with his playful pranks and morbid gestures. Between you and me, he's to die for. You know, if you're into the sexy trolls who dress impeccably. Yes, I am. Remy the Magnificent Mage is a stunning show of sorcery, enchantment, and wonder that will mesmerize you. Gaze into the wonder as Remy conjures up magic, spirits, and creatures that defy explanation. He'll fascinate you with his mastery of ancient lore and mystical symbols and arcane secrets. Smart, capable, and reserved, he attracts a lot of attention, but doesn't care at all. What a waste. Okay. So, continue. Oh, look at the time. If you don't hurry, you'll miss the first main sideshow attraction. As I rushed off, I stared at the itinerary. I can only see two main attractions. Who should I see first? We have to go see Casey, because apparently that's our childhood friend, question mark.
Welcome.
Folks, I am the Carnival of Curiosities' illustrious show mistress. Get ready for a dazzling display of agility, grace, and skill. Introducing Casey, the Acrobat Virtuoso. Not the gasp! I mean, he is cute. Casey appeared on the elevated platform. The spotlight on him moved down, drawing attention to the fact there was no safety net below. This performance is truly death-defying. Don't try this at home, folks. Casey wasted no time, easily walking the higher wire from one elevated platform to the next. Look at him! He readied himself and then jumped towards the trapeze bar. As if second nature, he gracefully twisted his body so that his legs were hooked onto the bar so that he could grab the next one and swing onto yet another elevated platform. A large metal ring slowly lowered from high above, and it looked like a wheel. Casey easily swung his way over to the large wheel, and there he twisted and turned dizzily, but with such grace I couldn't help but to be astounded. He even performed the wheel on the ground. It was a mesmerizing performance of power, beauty, and balance. Thank you, everybody. For my last trick, I'm going to need a volunteer with a lot of courage. While he spoke, a safety net was being set up, and audience members were already raising their hands. This volunteer will have to jump from a medium-height platform, aiming for the safety net below. Casey pointed to the platform in question and the safety net in turn. If I pull this trick off right, though, my volunteer won't ever reach the safety net. Casey walked towards the audience, coming close to clearly see everyone's eager faces. Random people offered him high fives and tried to reach out to him. And he continued to scan the crowd until his honey-colored gaze landed on me. I waved at him, and in return, Casey brightly smiled, motioning for me to come closer. I was a bit hesitant. Clearly he wanted me to be the volunteer, but I couldn't say no to him. I never could. I climbed down the stairs, and Casey helped me onto the stage.
Thanks.
Oh, why'd you give him that voice? I'm ignoring that. Well, yeah, I'm so happy to see you here. Thanks for watching my performance tonight. Casey beamed and took my purse for me.
So all you have to do is climb up that ladder. When you're ready, jump. Trust me, I'll do the rest.
Okay. I am gonna... do that. Anyways.
Alright. I'm trusting you with my life. Don't disappoint me.
Okay. Okay.
When have I ever?
I feel like you're about to. He laughed and went away to get ready while I did the same, and soon I was in position. You've got this. After mentally pumping myself up, I sprinted off and jumped. Okay. Anyways, it wasn't long before a set of arms caught me, and I felt myself flying through the air.
This may be a bit difficult, but grab the ring here, put your feet there. Perfect.
Not you telling me I'm doing a great job. Casey had brought us to the large suspended wheel and was attempting to balance us both inside of it, and to my surprise, it was actually going well. He held me close to him, drawing me in by my waist, and I held onto him in the wheel for dear life, and I couldn't stop myself from looking down. Casey could sense my nervousness immediately.
Hey, I've got you. Don't look down. Look at me. Try not to tense your muscles up so much.
Okay, I'll listen. Okay, yes, sir. He said it all very soothingly, staring into my eyes with his familiar, sweet smile. I followed his instructions and found that he was right. If I only looked at him, I wasn't so stiff and nervous. Casey slowly twirled us around, adjusting both of our weights masterfully.
You're really getting the hang of this. Pun absolutely intended.
He's very charming.
Of course it is. But the praise should go to you. You're a great teacher.
Okay. I laughed and carefully kept hold of both the metal wheel and Casey. He shifted his body into mine a bit more so that he was closer. That was even possible. Doing so slowed the wheel down so that we would come to a stop. I didn't know if it was the excitement of a new experience, the way Casey was looking at me, or if it was how close he was, but I suddenly was becoming very nervous again, for completely different reasons than before. Girl, I don't blame you. Me too, twin. I could feel my cheeks getting hot and my heart began pounding harder than ever before. I tensed up all over again at the thought Casey could probably feel my pounding heart.
Hey, shh. No need to get so worked up again. Relax.
The only time I let a man tell me what to do. What do you mean? Like, stop. Casey tried to soothe me again, only this time it was having the opposite effect.
Easy for you to say. I don't think I can calm down again right now. We're going to get off soon, right?
Unfortunately, yes, but you did so well the first time. Why can't you calm down again? I'd rather not talk about that. I felt myself become noticeably redder. Yeah. Casey seemed a bit startled at my reactions, and his cheeks also slowly started to flush as he readjusted his grip on me. Well, I can see what you mean. We are pretty close. Just then, the wheel started to slowly descend to the ground. It's okay if you're uncomfortable and if you don't like it. No, it's not that. I'm just not used to this, I guess. He laughed and shook his head. What are you talking about? That's impossible. We've hugged and been close to each other so many times when you were smaller, when you were a certified hug monster. Okay, that's enough about my embarrassing past. I don't know, though. Right now it's just different. Casey softly gazed at me with an expression I did not recognize on him. It's all right, as long as you're enjoying yourself. As soon as the wheel was on the ground, I let go of Casey quickly and muttered, "Yeah, I am enjoying myself." The audience had started to slowly stream out of the tent, and I went to go collect my purse, but when I turned back, I noticed Casey was surrounded by a crowd of people, most of them women. Girl, you blame them? I thought about leaving, but before I could, Casey managed to escape the crowd and pulled me back into the dressing rooms. Scandalous!
So, what did you think?
The music changing! Guys, I can't. Why is it a vibe back here? Anyways. I knew immediately what he was referring to his performance. Are you kidding me? You were amazing. I never knew you were such a talented acrobat. When I first saw you on the carnival itinerary, I couldn't believe it was really you. I don't know if that's a compliment or not. I mean it in the best way possible. You dazzled me. Casey was at a loss for words, and suddenly very bashful. By the way, why didn't you ever tell me you were such a talented performer at the Carnival of Curiosities? How'd you become such a good acrobat without me noticing? It's just something I picked up over the years, but I never tried to hide anything from you. 'Cause you would never. I guess I'll have to forgive you for not letting me in about your secret double life as an amazing acrobat. After all, I don't think I ever told you about how much I've always wanted to visit the carnival and capture it on camera. I'm honored you're so forgiving, and I see you're the same as usual, always taking your camera with you everywhere. You go snapping a million pictures. No need to be sarcastic. You should be flattered. I got so many good pictures of your performance. Casey struck a gallant pose, and he lifted his head up high and threw back his shoulders and put his hands on his hips. Hope you got my good side. I'm a hard subject to capture. You know me, I always do. The air around Casey suddenly shifted. He paused for a moment, his expression becoming both soft and bittersweet. Some things about you never change. I'm glad you're still taking so many pictures. It reminds me of when we were kids. Casey had turned so wistful and serious, I wasn't sure what to say. I'm not going to make the same mistake again. I have a ton of pictures of my mom and everyone I care about, so I wouldn't have it any other way. I just wish I had taken more pictures of my dad, but it's okay, I have enough. Casey nodded. He seemed a bit melancholic while he was listening closely. I smiled, trying to lift the mood back up. I can't wait to show my mom all the pictures I take tonight. She'd never expect me to be here. I know she'd appreciate the sights as much as I am. Carnivals always make her happy, since they remind her of my dad. Despite my attempts, Casey actually seemed as if he'd become a bit upset, though he tried his best to hide it with a smile.
That's right.
Your dad was obsessed with carnivals. Leave it to you to follow in his footsteps. Anyways, I was wondering if you'd want to hang out and enjoy the carnival together? Do you even have to ask? Of course. Casey's real smile came out now. I'm a bit busy with the second performance, but we can meet up afterwards. How about we meet up in the statue near the entrance of the carnival? You can't miss it. See you there, Leah. I took that as my cue to leave. Casey and I headed back towards the main performance area, and I waved back at him as he headed towards one of the platforms. That's when the show mistress appeared and called out to him. I was a distance away, but I still caught a bit of what they were saying since most of the audience had left. Congratulations on the marvelous show. Your fans are so verbose, I could barely hear my own thoughts. Though her words were congratulatory and her voice silk, her tone was unmistakably passive-aggressive. What do you mean? If only they knew who you really are, what you've inflicted upon an innocent. Casey hung his head, taking the verbal abuse for some reason. I want to stay and make things right. Please let me stay. The show mistress scoffed. You're so pathetic, but loyal. Stay as long as you please. Guys, I feel like I missed 8 chapters. You know? We're just gonna go ahead and save. Just in case something bad happens, okay? Be ready this time and make yourself useful. Casey plastered on a fake smile since the carnival goers were still around. He rushed backstage again, avoiding everyone. The audience realized the show was truly over and started pouring out of the tent, and I was forced to go with the flow of the crowd even though I wanted to check up on Casey. Maybe I can just ask him what happened and if he's okay when we meet up. The carnival was a sea of lights. People buzzed with activity, and I took out my itinerary. The last main attraction I can see. Who should I choose? We're gonna save here. That way we can go back and pick somebody else if we want to, you know. So we already saw Casey. Why would we see him again? We're not. We'll just go down the line. Remy the Magician.
Welcome.
Get ready for a stunning show of sorcery, enchantment, and wonder that will mesmerize you. Introducing Remy, the Magnificent Mage. Remy stood in the middle of the stage and bowed towards the audience. I love the little chibis. Look at the dragon! Sorry. Okay. He didn't say a word as he moved towards the wooden table on the stage and picked up a magician's hat and a wand. He showed the audience inside of the empty hat and tapped on its brim with his wand and then stuck his hand in and pulled out a scaly horned creature. So cute! A baby dragon! Oh! Why did that scare me so bad? A little creature seemed real enough as it squirmed in Remy's grip and breathed out a small firebolt. Remy swiftly returned the creature to his hat and showed it to the audience. It was empty. He then tapped his hat with the wand again and stuck the whole arm in. The hat's material inhumanly stretched as Remy pulled out a large crystal geode. I could hear how heavy it was even from a distance as he plopped it onto the table. He didn't stop there and reached into his hat again. This time an alien-like plant with meat-eating jaws was revealed. What? He showed it off for only a second before mysteriously returning it back into his hat. Returning to the wooden table, Remy arranged miscellaneous objects before looking up at the audience and speaking for the first time in an authoritative, sure tone.
You see here a vintage hand mirror, a voodoo doll, and a crystal ball.
Ooh, I like his voice. Hello.
These objects have been imbued with magic and can communicate with the spirits of the dead and forces of nature.
Oh. His hands began to glow blue. These objects can perform various feats. Watch closely.
These objects can perform various feats. Watch closely.
The transparent specters appeared flying around Remy and wailing in low tones. They flew into the heavy wooden table and effortlessly hovered as he lifted his hands. He returned the table to the floor, and the spirits now flew into the very tent. The tent shakes and all, and the tent actually shook and then hovered a foot above ground. In an instant, it was back on the ground, staked down, and everything.
Next, I will show you a fearsome creature. As long as it's confined in its summoning circle, it can do you no harm.
There was a magic circle to the left of the stage, etched into the very wood itself. His hands glowed blue, and in an instant there was a ferocious creature atop the circle. The head of a lion, the body of a goat, tail of a snake. It was a textbook definition of a chimera. It roared and tried to escape, but as Remy said, it was contained within the circle's confines, and as quickly as it had appeared, it had disappeared.
Now I'm going to need a volunteer. The volunteer will experience another plane of existence.
Ooh. Remy then moved a large wooden arcane box with the unknown sigil painted on the door to the top of the magic circle. Many volunteered immediately. As Remy approached the audience, he looked over the crowd. As I was deliberating whether or not I should volunteer, Remy stopped right in front of me. He extended his hand in a gentlemanly fashion, slightly bowing as he waited for my decision. I felt strangely compelled to accept it, even though I had been on the fence earlier. I took his hand, and Remy escorted me onto the stage, and now that I was closer, I noticed the magic floating in the air.
This box is a gateway to another dimension. There you'll be able to see strange and wonderful creatures.
Cool. He led me into the box and kept a hold of my hand to keep me focused on his instructions, I'd assumed.
Try not to struggle, panic, or move. Stay in the same area. Passively observe. Nothing more. Do you understand?
I understand. Yes. I nodded, nervous but excited. Remy closed the door, and I could hear him chant in what sounded like a dead language. I was now in an unspeakably strange other world, still vaguely conscious of the audience and the magician I'd left behind, but unable to see them. I was in a trance, and I couldn't move if I wanted to, but I knew I had to be somewhere else entirely. Before me was a breathtaking triple sunset with a lush plant life and wildlife that were unrecognizable. I heard Remy chant again. I was in a daze when he opened the door of the wooden box, and the whole audience of people were staring at me.
That was... wow! There was a triple sunset and alien animals!
I babbled a bit, unable to fully explain what I'd seen, and the audience was eating it up, though.
That concludes the show.
Bum bum bum. Remy bowed again towards the audience, and they started filing out, chattering excitedly. Few people tried to approach Remy, but he seemed wholly uninterested, and instead attended to me since I'd only walked a step out of the box. Are you regaining your senses? Transporting can take a toll on one's body and mind. I'm fine, but I don't know what to say. You're the real deal, like an actual magician. Remy emotionlessly nodded, not seeming to share my enthusiasm. Where'd you send me? Is it possible to take pictures? Wouldn't it be so amazing to capture that world and share its sights and creatures? As Remy listened, he seemed slightly taken aback by my excitement. He hesitated for a moment, but eventually spoke. It was another plane of existence, a reality that exists in this world, but only a different vibrational frequency. I didn't actually teleport you anywhere. You were in the box the whole time, but your molecules were vibrating so rapidly no one in this realm could see you. In that case, taking pictures may not even be an option. If they can't reach the correct vibrational frequency, then no. However, I've never tried. It is possible. Interesting experiment. After pondering for a while, Remy stared at me more closely, as if he were paying closer attention. If I wasn't mistaken, I even felt a faint sparkle in his eye. I've never met someone so excited about visiting another vibrational plane. Most are wary or frightened. Don't get me wrong, I was nervous, but there's nothing ever gained by giving into fear. New experiences allow me to keep growing. New experiences allow for growth. Is that so? He echoed my words ponderously and seemed to be mulling something over. Well, if you ever need a camera woman who doubles as an extra-dimensional explorer, look me up. Remy snapped out of his thoughts and appeared rather amused. Perhaps I will keep you in mind. It was nice meeting you. Remy acknowledged my words with a nod and then focused his attention on his magic tools. I made my way off stage, and as I did, I noticed the show mistress had appeared on stage beside Remy. Remy spoke in a hushed tone. The preparations are complete. It shouldn't take long now. The show mistress, on the other hand, laughed loudly and clapped Remy on the shoulder. That's what I like to hear. By the way, you put on a spectacular performance. Did you see how much your eyes lit up? It was all thanks to you. Her. I wonder who they're talking about. Babe's me. Anyways, I walked quickly out of the tent as the remaining audience members trickled out. I idly looked for Casey while waiting near our general agreed upon meeting place. Leah! Casey waved at me from across the crowd, rushing to meet me at the same statue. He was full of energy.
I'm excited to show you around.
No, really? I smiled at his infectious, bright enthusiasm. And I'm excited to experience it together. We have to go check out the Ferris wheel. My stomach rumbled loudly. Okay, but I guess I need to fuel myself with something delicious first. I've got you covered. There's a ton of food vendors this way. Fair Food FTW. We walked towards the dense row of small booths. It was insanely crowded, but a heavenly aroma lingering in the air nearly made me drool. Whoa, there's too many options. You're looking undecided there. Let me just say the funnel cakes here are to die for, and they have so many toppings. I haven't had one in so long, not since we went to the fair on our last year of high school. Casey followed as I went to wait in line. While staring at the scenery, I felt a random push from behind and was shoved into the person ahead of me.
Are you okay?
Of course we are. I recognized the voice immediately, given that I had spoken to him not too long ago. Remy? People are always so eager to solve their hunger. It's not that I don't understand, but there's no need to be so uncivil. Remy, what a coincidence. Are you getting some funnel cake too?
No.
Oh. Then you should join us and get one. Apparently they're really good. I flashed him the brightest smile. Casey, who had forced his way against the line to catch me, seemed a bit disgruntled and only half-heartedly nodded. How do you even know Remy in the first place, Leah? I saw a sideshow performance earlier. It was mind-blowing, to say the least. He legitimately transported me to another dimension. It's hard to explain what I saw. A glimpse into an alien planet? But he's the real deal. I see. How interesting. Casey's voice was a bit flat now. I assumed you two knew each other since you worked here together, right? We haven't had a chance to talk much, but I know him. We're acquainted. I bear no ill will. So, did you want to join us, Remy? Maybe Casey could warm up to Remy. He doesn't seem too thrilled he's here. Remy gazed at me for a moment, impassive, as was usual for him. You're an interesting soul, so I accept. I was handed a large funnel cake topped with cocoa, hazelnut spread, and strawberries. We were silent as we tried our decked-out desserts. This is heavenly.
It's so good.
We made the right choice. Casey was happily munching out. Despite Remy's silence, I could see a hint of joy creeping onto his stoic features. How's yours, Remy? I think that's happiness I detect. Whatever joy I had seen shadowed in Remy's features completely disappeared the moment I mentioned it.
It's good.
You have to try mine though, Leah. Casey offered his plate, so I could get a piece, and I offered him my plate in return. Yours is good too. Ice cream and sprinkles are a delicious combo. And yours is rich and fruity. It's just like you to pick these flavors. Remy looked at Casey and I as if he were analyzing the situation. Leah, you should try my funnel cake too, given your flavor preferences. He offered a piece, holding the bite near my lips. Oh gosh. If I was not mistaken, he wants to feed me? The bite he held to me did look delicious. It was topped with raspberry spread, whipped cream, and drizzled in chocolate. I gave the food a look full of both curiosity and longing. Should I accept? Fine. I quickly ate the offered food, a bit embarrassed, but loving Remy's choice of toppings.
Thank you.
Remy looked away with a soft smile. If I wasn't mistaken, he seemed pleased with my reaction. I feel like I just witnessed something rare. Remy, what do you think you're doing? There was aggravation in Casey's voice. Remy merely blinked, as if Casey had asked the most obvious question in the world. I'm sharing. What else would I be doing? This kind of atmosphere is pleasant. I don't do this often, so I wanted to be cordial and offer up my sweets too.
Here.
Are you upset I didn't share with you as well? Here. Remy held a piece of his funnel cake for Casey to eat, and Casey was at a loss for words. Maybe because Remy seemed so sincere? Either way, he was definitely adverse to letting Remy feed him. Put that down now. I don't want to be fed by you. He grabbed Remy's offered funnel cake and ate it himself, sourly mumbling. I couldn't help but to laugh at the scene. Thanks, it's good. You seem to really like sweets, Remy. It's not the sweets in and of themselves, it's sharing them. I would share my treats all the time like this with my master. He must be a precious person. I'm glad you have someone like that in your life. What kind of person's your master? Remy turned cold, and his voice clipped. Wait, go back. What did he just say? He was a very wise and capable person. Remy said nothing more, and I got the distinct impression that I shouldn't have asked. Yeah. What's your problem? Getting mad at Leah like that? You shouldn't talk to her in that tone. Your problems with your master aren't her fault. Casey broke through the awkward tension, defending me. Remaining emotionless, though, I was sure I saw him scowl slightly at Casey for a second. Casey quickly cut off another piece of his funnel cake. This time he held up a bite to my lips as Remy had previously. Do you want to You want to try another bite of my funnel cake? It'll cheer you up. Should I accept? Sure. I happily accepted his offer. Casey turned redder than he had already been, but he also seemed to be glowing with happiness. Yes, because I just eat food from people's hands now. That is what I have decided. If we're done eating, the next stop is the Ferris wheel. No disagreements allowed. Casey dragged the group to the Ferris wheel. Bruh, why is this so awkward? Very relaxing. Remy actually seemed satisfied with Casey's choice of entertainment.
I've been wanting to bring you here, so you could experience how beautiful the carnival looks from above.
Aw, you're so thoughtful. I'm gonna get an awesome picture of the scenery from the top. I knew you would want to. As our group ascended, I took out my camera and snapped a few pictures of both the scenery and Remy and Casey riding in the cabin with me. Those funnel cakes earlier tasted so good. I forgot to take pictures, but this should totally make up for it. As we reached the very top, I decided to... Babes. Okay. I feel like this might be important later. Anyways, we're gonna take a selfie with Casey. Why? Because that's our childhood friend. Given the cabins were small and only 2 seats on each side, I decided to take a selfie with Casey. Casey, I demand you take an amazing picture of us. I gave him my camera and squeezed closer in for him to pose. Casey moved in closer, albeit bashfully, and held up my camera. Guys, I just like a man that yearns.
Say cheese!
Like, not being bashful. Winner, winner. He snapped the picture and I checked it out and showed it to him. Oh, what a cute picture. It is the cutest. I'm lucky to always take pictures with someone as cute as you. Though Casey sounded nonchalant, I felt myself flushing. Babes, he's not nonchalant. Look at his face. Also, I hate nonchalant men. Where is my chalant? Okay? Stop joking around. You always say stuff like that to mess with me. That's not true. I've always felt like that. To me, you're... Casey trailed off, not saying anything more on the topic, and he scooted away to a more appropriate distance. I'm the coolest person to ever hold a camera, obviously. Can I borrow it and take some pictures too? I smiled and handed him my camera, and he sighed for some reason, looking both relieved and regretful. That's because he's in love with you, babes. But just so you know, in all of our pictures together, I've always thought your bright smile was the cutest.
Oh.
I can't! What just happened? Casey nearly chokes on the air. The Ferris wheel lurch. Guys, by the way, that whole conversation, Remy's just sitting there like, you idiots. That didn't feel normal. Everyone looked out of the cabin, trying to figure out what happened, and I noticed the Ferris wheel operator was missing, and I could hear faint screaming. Given that the cabins were moving slowly enough, it was possible to jump out once we reached the ground. I reached for... Babes, Casey's gonna take care of us. This is Casey route. I reached for Casey's hand. He gave my hand a reassuring squeeze and smiled at me. Together, we jumped from the cabin when it was at its lowest point, and Remy jumped out immediately after. Why are y'all so calm? Oh! What is that? This is the right reaction. This and this, not the right reaction. Upon exiting the Ferris wheel, I stare aghast as people started to transform into grotesque creatures. They looked so odd and inhuman, they almost seemed alien. The carnival goers were transitioning into true alien horrors. Tonight had already been so surreal that all I could do was go blank, mouth agape at the unfolding chaos. Not only were people transforming into unearthly beings, but they were going mad and attacking nearby people. Gross. A fully transformed alien horror turned to our group and let out a shrill shriek, running at us at full speed. It's coming right for us. He raised his hand, magic sparkling from it, and oddly, it didn't seem as if Remy was trying to attack the creature. Either way, the alien horror did not stop. Let's get out of here, now. Casey tugged on me while Remy ran ahead to lead the group. This way. As far as I could see, the carnival goers were running for their lives, and I almost didn't believe that I was a witness to this. Remy turned to Casey. We need to get in the less densely populated area. Casey thought for a second and then picked up his pace. Stay close, guys. I have an idea. Casey swerved to the left, darting into a small place between the tents. Followed by Remy, I ran faster to keep up. They both suddenly halted before a large clearing. We have to cross this clearing and then make it to the tents on the other side. The most expected method would be to zigzag. Try not to attract too much attention. Okay, we've got this. Remy nodded and motioned to start running. Why is that one so big? Casey and Remy and I dashed out from between the tents as they were about halfway across the clearing, teeming with people and transforming alien horrors, when I realized I could go no further. I stopped, gasping for breath. There wasn't much else I could do. I retreated and nestled myself in a small nook between two closely set up tents. I bent over, propping myself on my knees as I caught my breath. A large cloud of people and alien horrors alike began to stampede across the clearing, separating me from the others. Realizing that I had now fallen behind, I pressed myself closely against a tent, trying to remain hidden. An intense, sudden wave of fatigue and something rolled over me. It was so powerful it nearly knocked me to my knees. I could barely formulate a single thought as I panted and heavily sank down. I used the tent behind me to guide myself down gently and quietly. Screeching rubber, blinding headlights, and the sensation of cold metal causing a burning pain, and the smell of gasoline invaded my senses. Why now? Why now? I knew that those unforgettable sensations very well. Through some miracle, I had survived that car accident. I had survived partially getting run over, even. I'm not sure to what extent the damage was. My memories of the incident and healing process are all hazy, but I'm sure I've been feeling a lot better nowadays. However, sometimes, out of the blue, I succumb to the feeling incredibly weak. It had an after effect of the accident, and unfortunately, fatigue and weakness were impossible to push through. I'd have to wait it out. I took deep, quiet breaths, trying to block out the horrific screaming and death occurring around me. This is just my body's natural reaction to my traumatic accident. This is how I feel because I'm still healing from something that could have killed me. I'm lucky to be alive. I'm lucky to be alive. I chanted the words in my mind like a mantra. Eventually, my dismal state passed. An eardrum-shattering scream originated from just a few feet away. Someone, somewhere in front of the tent I hid by. Someone was definitely in trouble. For that matter, I would be too if I stayed here for too long. I needed to act and think quickly. What should I do? This feels important. Flee and run until I find my companions. Fight my way to my companions. Or help the screaming person. No, flee until I find people I know. Babe, I'm not helping you. Sorry, I don't want to die. I don't have any weapons. Look at me. Okay. What do you think I'm going to do? There were so many alien horrors roaming freely now that there was no possible way I could fight any of them successfully. Nor was I in position to help others when I could barely even help myself. The best course of action was to catch up with the others as quickly as I can. After steeling myself, I sprung into a hiding place and ran in the general direction I last saw Casey and Remy head in. I dodged fleeing carnival goers and alien horrors alike. Luckily, I made it across the clearing and darted into another maze of narrowing pathways between tents and booths. It was a clean break. No creatures followed me. To my disbelief, I spotted a black and blonde-haired duo in the distance, and I immediately sprinted towards them. When I realized they were having an unpleasant conversation, I slowed down. The lessers are acting crazy. They're attacking us as if they don't recognize us, so it must be able to attack even Leah. Casey was extremely aggravated and worried, trying his best not to yell. We need to double back farther and find her quickly before she gets hurt. Remy was quieter and more calculated. Casey's agitated state didn't seem to deter him in the least. It's been about 2 hours since the transfer. It won't take long till the other half of the population is infected and the Reavers emerge. Lessers? Reavers? Full of questions, I made myself known. Babe, you are not about to ask them. Casey, Remy, what are you talking about? What are lessers and reavers? You're an idiot, and I hate that you made me do that. I eyed the two suspiciously. They sounded as if they knew what was happening, and even worse, they were helping it happen. Do you know what is turning people into these horrific monsters? Remy seemed genuinely surprised at my sudden appearance, while Casey was beyond relieved. Casey took my hand and pulled me in closer, as if that would ensure my safety. I fought back against his grip, staying a good distance away, peering at both Casey and Remy warily. Casey was certainly hurt, but didn't try to approach me again. Remy held out his arm, beseeching me to stop. We need to find somewhere secure. Now is not the time or the place to answer all of your questions. That will come later. I gazed into Remy's calm eyes and faltered. I promise to protect you at all costs, no matter what terrible things you must be thinking about us right now. Please know that your safety is my only priority. Casey's vow was dead serious and sincere. I was further swayed, sensing nothing but good intentions from him. Rest assured, I'll see to it that you aren't harmed by any alien creature. I felt conflicted and was tempted to press the matter if it wasn't for the alien horrors shrieking nearby. It was uncomfortably close, so I gave my consent and the group began to move again. The tireless running was never ending. We alternated between full-on sprinting and sneaking past unfortunate people transformed into alien horrors. Eventually, we found our way into an empty tent. After securing all the entrances and exits, it was deemed safe enough to rest in for a while. I was breathing raggedly and all but collapsed on the floor. Remy was there with me. He was pretty drained and sat down for a short minute. Casey had hardly broken a sweat, his outfit a little dusty, but he seemed just peachy. I was actually kind of jealous. Minutes of silence stretched on until I caught my breath. You two seem to know what's going on, to an extent at least. What can we do right now? Is there any safe way we can get out of this chaos? I suggest going anywhere powerful magic wards have been cast, like the main tent or my own tent. I wholeheartedly agree. The main tent is the best option, but I don't understand why you have to point your tent. Isn't it far from our current location? There's other sideshow tents that are closer. All of them should have some form of magic warding, even if the warding's weaker than the main tent. Remy brushed off Casey's comment. I'm only giving Leah the best options I can offer. Just then, the entrance to the tent flap was torn open. An alien horror easily broke in and began wrecking everything, tossing chairs and tables around. It noticed us immediately, and it ran directly towards me, but it crashed into one of the tent's support poles, causing the lights to flicker. Everyone was scattered. Casey noticed me looking around, unsure of what to do, and he motioned for me to move closer to him. He was near the exit, poised to escape. The alien horror noticed Remy and shrieked and went in for attack. I was unable to move, but I got by undetected. Good job, Leah. You did great. Let's get out of here. Casey took my hand and fled out of the tent. I felt torn, leaving Remy behind, but I had to hope he was able to fend off his foe and find his way to safety. I didn't know how long I was running for, but I ran as fast and as hard as I could to keep up with Casey. We were trying to shake off the alien horrors who had noticed and pursued us. It seemed like there were less humans around and more monstrosities, so it was impossible to stop moving even for a moment. What the fudge? Oh my gosh, guys, I need a minute. What the freak is that? No. 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 Just when things were looking their bleakest, dark, shadowy entities emerged from the very ground, and they looked like mad silhouettes with their eerily stretched grins and crazy eyes. Their only discernible features were their eyes and their mouths. They're reavers. Don't worry about them too much. It's the transformed people monsters you have to look out for. The reavers took down the alien horrors easily. They felled the monstrosities and then cracked their chests open to reveal bloody, writhing slugs. I didn't get a great look at the slugs, but whatever they were, they looked and moved as if they did not belong of this world. They were truly alien-like creatures. Had those slugs caused all those people to transform into hideous horrors? Leah, we're getting close to the tent I performed in earlier. It's the only way to the main tent in magic wards. Should be protecting the area. We can't get there soon enough. You poor thing. You'll get rest soon. Though the shadowy reavers killed many monstrosities, few still managed to follow us. I wanted to keep running. Relief was almost in sight, but my heart felt like it was about to burst. I could feel the weakness and fatigue of earlier coming to surround me. My vision started swimming. Casey, I don't think I can do this anymore. I warned him with the last of my breath, and it was difficult to even speak now. I had slowed down so much that a few alien horrors got uncomfortably close and swiped at me. Casey looked back horrified. Duck! He moved fast, hovering over my crouching form to block an incoming attack with his outer forearm. He twisted his body and swept the creature's feet out from under it. Another monster attacked, and Casey drew close to it and rammed his elbow into its chest. There was a sick crunching sound as its chest caved in, and it pitifully wailed. A third creature was positioned to hammer its overgrown fist down upon Casey, but he easily dodged and slammed his knee into the creature's abdomen and brought it down on its back. Distracted by Casey's fight, I didn't notice that the first creature he had swept off his feet was right behind me. It swung its claws mercilessly into my shoulder. I saw red for a second. Pain exploded through my shoulder and radiated down my arm and chest. Casey reacted immediately, his entire being ferocious and unforgiving. The alien horror attempted to swing down upon me again, and Casey intervened and took the hit, and it slashed him across the chest. But that didn't slow him, and he didn't stop until he caved in every alien horror's chest, crushing the alien slugs within. Heaving quick breaths, Casey offered me a hand and helped me up. And then he crouched down and turned around, offering me his back. Is he gonna piggyback me right now? Get on. I can give you a ride for the rest of the way. Okay. Still, marred by the weakness and fatigue of before, and now wounded, I gladly climbed on. Babes, you look a little too happy just because you're wounded to climb on. Don't play. Thank you. Anything for you. Whoa! I know he's supposed to be creepy right now, but he just got a lot hotter in my opinion. Hey! His tone was chirpy, if not worried, but its familiarity was soothing. I felt my tense muscles loosen as I carefully wrapped my arms around his shoulders and upper chest. Once we made it to Casey's performance tent, it was apparent that the creatures weren't able to follow us in. I could tell there was some magical barrier erected, and the alien horrors were unable to pass through the entrance. Some lost interest and left, others pounded against the invisible barrier. Leah, are you alright? How bad is it? His beautiful golden eyes sorrowfully glistened, and he winced as he looked at my wound. It looks bad, huh? Feels like my arm was torn off the shoulder. I held back a whimper. Casey disappeared and came back with a first aid kit and some water. He did his best to clean my wound and sew it up. I gnashed my teeth, bearing the pain. You can squeeze my arm if that helps, or I can find you something to bite on. I shook my head. Please, just finish. Casey dutifully nodded and got back to work. When he was done, I tiredly slumped against the pole. Casey smiled at me, and I gave him a tired smile back. But you're hurt too, Casey. You took a nasty hit. He waved me off. Don't worry about me. I'm fine. I'm not taking no for an answer. If you won't take care of yourself, I will. I grabbed the first aid kit with determination and went on to work cleaning his wound. And Casey's cheeks turned pink. Please, rest instead. I tried to be as gentle as possible, using light touches. His injury was right across his chest, and it must have been stung. Even so, I noticed Casey blushing harder. I bandaged his wound as best as I could, carefully pressing clean gauze over it and tapping it down with medical tape. I traced the tape with my finger, absent-mindedly, my touch lingering on him. I realized how close I was to him, and his skin was so soft, his lean chest was firm beneath my fingertips. I turned entirely red and somewhat mortified when it dawned on me that I'd been awkwardly touching Casey's toned chest for no reason. Babe, you had a reason, don't play. Sounds it. I hesitantly gazed at Casey from underneath my lashes. He had an indescribable expression I'd never seen on him before. It was as if he was mesmerized. I didn't know how to react. My thoughts started racing, and I pulled my hand back quickly, but Casey gently took it and guided it back to his chest, over his heart. His heart was beating like crazy, as if it were trying to escape. I felt a mixture of both relief and nervousness from this new discovery. Casey had been constant in my life since I was a kid. Somehow, something felt different about him. Or maybe it was just me who felt differently? I'd thought the same during his performance earlier. He filled me with sweet jitters. I found myself unwilling to look away from him, unwilling to pull apart. Thank you for everything, for saving me, carrying me, taking care of me, and even everything before that. Casey's voice was sweet and lighthearted. Before that, you mean being your loyal follower and confidant? For always being there when I needed you. Even now, you're here right when I need you. Casey's expression started to darken, startling me. Did I say something wrong? Casey shook his head and grabbed both of my hands. You did nothing wrong. It's just I haven't forgiven myself for what happened. It eats me up. What happened? The accident you were in was my fault. You saved me. I tried hard to recall what happened, my eyebrows furrowing when I could retrieve very little. We were walking across the street with a group of friends, and a drunk driver ran the red light. I could have died or been critically injured if it wasn't for you. I should have been paying more attention. I can't forgive myself for not being faster, so you wouldn't have had to save me. It's all fuzzy. I don't remember doing that. Yeah, having fuzzy memories after a bad accident is pretty normal. But Casey, what you just described is not your fault. It's the driver's fault. I know myself, and I'm sure I'd save you again in a heartbeat. There's nothing to forgive. I acted on my own. I squeezed his hands comfortingly. Casey's eyes were watery. You would really do it again? Knowing all that pain and dealing with the problems you are now? I nodded, giving him my best, most gentle smile. Tears started flowing down Casey's cheeks. I mean, it would suck to do it all again, but relearning about my actions from you, I don't regret them. Casey was full on sobbing and hugging me tightly. It's very attractive when a man can feel his emotions and cry. Just saying. I returned his bear hug and rubbed his back. To think that Casey had been holding in all of this sorrow. I hope I eased his conscience, even if it was for just a little. Alien horrors and their loud pounding redirected Casey and I's attention. Outside, even more alien horrors had gathered, and they were trying to break in. Casey pulled away and wiped his tears. "We spent too much time dawdling. I've got to get you to the main tent. Your mom is actually there and can help you more with your wound. I don't want to wait for it to get taken care of properly. We have to move fast." "Wait, my mom's here?" "I'll explain later. She's at the main tent. I'm not sure how much longer these wards will last. They're weaker than the main tent, so we should move." "Wait, Casey, I've been thinking. I know you're set on getting to the main tent as soon as possible, and I understand the magic wards here are stronger, so we'd be safe. Don't we have any other options, though?" "Other options? Like what?" We could escape. Can we try to escape the carnival and leave this nightmare behind? Repeat that, or better yet, explain in more detail. Casey was utterly flabbergasted, as if the notion was wild and inconceivable. "I just mean that we could leave. Like, I really just want to leave this mess behind. Why do you seem so against the idea?" "You won't survive out there. You don't understand." Casey protested, becoming emotional again. I know you said you have no regrets and that you saved me. You really don't remember how bad the accident was. It was terrible." "How bad was it?" I hesitated to even ask, because of how wound up Casey had become. "You ended up in critical care and fell into a year-long coma." Casey's words felt like a dream, as if they didn't pertain to me. I clutched my head, alarmed. "I don't remember that at all." "I know. Every time you come back, you never remember the details of the accident or the past carnivals. At least the rest of your memory is intact." I felt a foreboding, dense mass grow within me. Past carnivals? I've lost some of my recent memories. "Remember, your mom is here and can help you. She can treat your wound correctly, and she can explain this to you herself. Right now, the only reason you're awake is because of Vivienne. If you leave the carnival and don't allow her to help you, I can't guarantee you'll stay conscious. You need to go see her." I've been meaning to ask, how's she even here? Why is she at the main tent? "She's here for you, to keep you conscious and healthy." Why would leaving the carnival and leaving her mean I wouldn't survive? What would happen? I'd die? Slip back into a coma? How could my mom even help me with that? She's only human. Every answer led to more questions. Casey grew increasingly sorrowful the more erratic I became. "I don't think I can explain this right. You need to see it yourself to truly understand. Please, Leah, come with me to the main tent and talk to Vivienne. You'll get your answers." Okay, we're gonna save again. Fine. Let's go see my mom. I have a lot of questions. Casey was clearly relieved I chose to go to the main tent. The show mistress was the only soul I saw in the main tent. She stood in the middle of a large magic circle, her back to the entrance. Blood and guts littered the floor. There was a particularly large pile of what looked like bloody organs on the side of the magic circle. However, I couldn't be more sure since the lighting was dim. I was taken aback at the state of the main tent and the scene before me. I immediately regretted agreeing to come here. This place didn't look safe at all. If anything, the whole area reeked of death and danger. More than anything, though, I was worried about my mom. Is she our mom? Bruh. I mustered up the courage and spoke. "Where's my mom? Is she safe?" Casey looked at me with confusion. Vivian's right in front of you. Of course she's my mom. The show mistress turned around and slipped off her mask and hat, laughing.
Oh.
I must have changed quite a bit, because for some reason even my own daughter never recognizes me immediately. I was stunned when I realized the show mistress had been my mom all along. She had dyed her hair, wore clothes she never would have before, and was previously wearing a mask, which is why I didn't recognize her before, but it was undoubtedly her. I was surprised and didn't recognize her voice from earlier. Now that I thought about it, her voice sounded different. It was more authoritative and unmerciful. Vivian shifted her attention to Casey, her whole demeanor changing. While bringing Leah here was the least you could do, did you manage to bring her in one piece?
I see.
She was the subject to damage, but you've curried some favor with me regardless. Vivian eyed my wounded shoulder distastefully and spoke to Casey passive-aggressively. Still, Casey looked quite pleased. Does this mean I get to see Leah more? Vivian sneered, but eventually nodded in agreement. So, my darling mini muse. Vivian smiled at me warmly, as she always had, though somehow she seemed much older. You've come just in time for the first harvest. We shouldn't delay, especially since your injury must hurt. Right on cue, a reaver drug in a freshly deceased alien horror, and it sliced his chest and dug out an alien slug. Vivian snatched the dead body alien from the reaver. Ah, it's so fresh. She immediately brought it, the disgusting slug-like creature, up to my lips, trying to feed it to me as if I were a child. I backed away so quickly I stumbled and landed on my butt. Are you trying to feed me that alien slug? I don't even know what it is. How cute, you call it an alien slug. It's a lesser Zyra. If you want to keep up your strength and remain alive, you must eat as many of them as you can. I stared at her in disbelief. You were in a critical accident and coma. If you don't do this, you won't stay conscious. You may not even survive. I stared down at the deceased, bloody lesser Zyra. It really did look like a large, grotesque slug. Could I actually eat this? No! The faces of my loved ones, the most trusted people in my life, were encouraging as gently as they goaded me to eat it.
I don't want to lose you. You mean everything to me.
My darling girl, please eat. It's the only way you'll stay healthy.
Y'all are giving fake. Y'all are giving fake. What are y'all trying to do right now? It's giving fake. Just seeing the dead bodies of the alien slug-like creatures revolted me. Despite my mom and Casey's pleas, I could not bring myself to eat them.
I'm sorry, I can't.
Ooh, okay. I don't like this. At my resistance, Casey's demeanor immediately changed. I tried to run, but my mom held me still while Casey chained my limbs down so I couldn't leave. I couldn't believe what was happening, that they were doing this to me.
I trusted you.
I shouted desperately.
Let me go. You're both acting insane. How could you?
We're doing this for your own good. To save you. If only you could trust us. This would be over soon.
I'll never forgive you.
I violently struggled against my bindings, seated in the center of a magic circle. Casey chewed up a lesser Zyra, blood gushing out of his mouth, dripping down his chin as he bit into it. Ew! Holy crap. He hovered over me, pushing a chewed alien slug mush into my mouth with his, as if I were a baby bird.
Stop.
The metallic tang of blood filling my mouth was unfamiliar and disturbing, but worst of all, he was feeding the chunks of slimy, raw alien slug inside my mouth and down my throat, and I immediately became nauseous and started gagging. Casey spoke to me soothingly and caressed the side of my face. Guys, I'm literally gonna throw up.
Remember, you have to keep it all down if you want to heal and stay alive.
Ew! I felt all my sanity slipping as I sobbed uncontrollably.
This isn't real. This isn't real. This isn't happening.
Casey persistently caressed the side of my face and hand. He chewed up another lesser Zyra and force-feeded me repeatedly, even while I was sobbing. I felt him push the raw alien slug mush into my mouth and down my throat with his tongue, and somehow I managed to choke it down. Ew!
You're doing such a wonderful job, my sweet angel.
If this is the way to keep me alive, kill me, please.
I'm so grateful you saved my life. I'll always serve you. I'll always do what's good for you, so you don't have to worry about anything.
I love the devotion, but babe. No.
You've always been and always will be the one I love. My top priority.
Guys, I'm scared.
I'll take care of you in any way I can, even if I have to kill. Even if I have to force you to submit for your own good.
Okay.
You're insane. Just stop. Please stop.
What the freak? Casey chewed up another lesser Zyra, force-feeding me again.
Remember, all you have to do is breathe and eat.
See, and you could have tricked me too. Like, if you would have baked them in a chocolate cake, I would have ate it. I would have ate it. But instead, you're doing this crap right here. What the freak is this? Bad end. Feast of the Damned. What? Casey, you betrayed me! Okay, hold on. We're gonna go back to this decision, and we're gonna pretend that we're gonna do it. Okay. Okay. The faces of my loved ones, the most trusted people in my life, were encouraging me as gently as they goaded me to eat the lesser Zyra. Just seeing the dead bodies of the alien slug creatures revolted me, but I couldn't ignore my mom and Casey's pleas.
I don't want to lose you. You mean everything to me.
Yeah.
My darling girl, please eat. It's the only way you'll stay healthy.
I'll try. For you. Gosh, I would throw up everywhere. My mind was muddled and confused, but I forced myself in the middle of the magic circle and choked down the lesser Zyra. I gagged and nearly threw up multiple times. Bile and metallic tang of blood gushing into my mouth was unfamiliar and disturbing. Yeah. No, because I'm literally getting sick at my stomach. Worst of all was having to push through and chew the slimy raw slug-like aliens so that I could swallow them. You could have honestly cut them up. Or something. I'd like to see one of y'all eat them, actually. Mom, I'd like to see you eat it, because Casey just baby birded it to me, okay? Like, brother, what? Honestly, I was surprised I could keep it down after everything I ate. Casey and Mom looked so proud, gazing at me with love and adoration. They even ate a few of the aliens themselves. Oh, great! You're joining in! What is this, a delicacy? Once it was safe enough, I insisted on getting out of the main tent. The overwhelming stench of blood and sickly sweet rotting meat was too much for my senses. The aftermath of the carnival was brutal. Bodies, both human and disfigured, lay scattered like insects. Blood soaked into the dirt was splattered on everything in sight. What had been harvested appeared to be only a small portion of those sacrificed. I don't know what to say. I don't know what to do. I couldn't think, and my belly was full of raw, slug-like aliens. The situation was simply inconceivable. I barely registered as Casey slipped his fingers through mine.
You look so broken and void of life, my sweet, hollow angel. I love that expression of yours.
You like when I'm depressed? His hand tightened uncomfortably around mine, and he pulled me closer. I did nothing, allowing myself to be manipulated. Casey's face instantly became normal and sweet again.
I'll always owe you for saving my life. For paying the price that I should have paid. I don't care how or what I have to do. I'm just glad you're alive. I'll always be here for you, to help you flourish, no matter how scary and sad the situation.
Casey's manic words were probably meant to be reassuring, but they fell on deaf ears. Casey gently took my other hand. Both of his hands now held mine, as he tenderly interlaced our fingers.
I've been with you all your life, and I support you now, even during your darkest hours.
My darkest hours? You did this!
I love you. Can't you see how much I love you?
I can see it. Casey leaned in, his lips touched mine soft and sweetly. It was hard for me to feel anything, to care. I felt vacant in every sense. The world, trauma I'd endured was all so fresh. Still, Casey continued to shower me with adoration and sweet kisses. I found myself responding to his persistent lips and soft touch. He handled me as if I was fragile and precious. My heavy thoughts receded and pushed back to the back of my mind. The darkness and negativity ceased to matter when I shut them out, replacing them with gratification. I squeezed Casey's hands and kissed him back eagerly, as if I were drowning and he was a lung full of air. Even though so much death has occurred, beauty can still be found in these dark depths. Casey's good ending. The sweetest kisses are tinted with blood. Okay. But what would happen? Sorry. What would happen if I was like, no, we are escaping? Hold on. No, we are going to escape. I want to get out. I've seen too much horror and death. I want to go home. I don't want to believe anything Casey's saying. Even if my mom is at the main tent, she should be safe and make it home as well. My resistance caused a sudden shift in Casey's demeanor and the atmosphere around him. Why do I feel like he's not going to let me leave? Ah, fudge! I can't talk you out of this, can I? You're so stubborn. Always have been. The changes in Casey's voice and expression frightened me. It was as if light and life had been sucked from him, leaving only a hollow giddiness. I won't let you run away so easily. I know what's best for you. I can save you. I fearfully backed away, not recognizing Casey. He suddenly brought out a rope and pounced on me, binding my hands behind my back and tying my legs together. What the hell are you doing? Help! I fruitfully shouted, aware that my pleas for help would go unanswered. Stop struggling. I don't want to agitate your wound. It's obvious to me now that you need me. You need my guidance because you simply don't know any better. Casey was gentle, but reprimanding. I was so stunned at his change, I almost didn't believe it. Casey, please, stop this. Casey didn't relent and picked up my bound body easily. I had no idea where I was. Somewhere in the carnival, maybe? It didn't look like it was a tent, but I couldn't imagine anywhere else I'd be. The room was plush and inviting. Velvet bound my wrists, but I felt like a life-size doll, prettily dressed up but chained. My cage was gilded, but there was no mistaking that I was imprisoned. The show mistress walked in without her mask and hat, and it was the first time I'd seen her so closely and had an opportunity to talk to her directly. So this is Casey's taste. My darling daughter looks like an innocent doll. The way she chuckled at the situation was detached and cruel. Wait, Mom? I was stunned when I realized the show mistress had been my mom all along. But it was undoubtedly her. I was surprised I didn't recognize her voice. Please, Mom, you have to let me go. I'm tired of being trapped. Casey has complete control over me. Vivian clicked her tongue at me. I'm disappointed in you, dear. You tried to run off without even talking to me. You'd die out there in the real world if I wasn't around to help you. If I leave you unmonitored, you just run off again. Trust me, my mini muse. I'm going to keep you alive forever. So stop begging to be let go. Make this easier on all of us. Her words were a stab to my heart, shattering my trust in her. Casey, you've proven yourself, so I'm granting your request. You can take care of Leah until the next carnival. Casey was beyond blissful at Vivian's words, his expression contorted into one of mad ecstasy. It's like I don't know both of you anymore. Once Vivian left, Casey sat behind me and wrapped himself around me like a snake. I squirmed, irritated and desperate to wish this all away.
I'll never forget this. You're sick.
Okay, I was hating in the beginning at the voice actor because, like, why is your voice so high pitched? And, like, it was sounding kind of childlike, so I didn't like it. But, okay, you're kind of fire. Like, you're kind of good at your job. Unable to move, I was at Casey's mercy as he ran his fingers through my hair and caressed it fondly. No matter how much I begged and pleaded, it was futile.
Please, just listen to me, Casey. There has to be another way. Let me out of here.
I'm sorry, but I can't. Last time I tried that, you attempted to escape, didn't you? I've learned my lesson.
How many times has this freaking happened?
I'll only loosen your bindings at night, so we can sleep together lying down. I have to punish you somehow for trying to escape, right?
Somebody freaking kill me. Because I hate this, but I'm also equally attracted to it, and I hate that even more. A sense of dread churned in the pit of my stomach.
I won't try to leave again.
I don't believe you, sweet angel of mine. You have to remember that you can't ever leave me. You need me, and you need to be taken care of. Oh, so delicately.
Why do I feel like you're not gonna take care of me delicately? I flinched away from his touch, from the heat of his body that encompassed
I'll bring you
mine.
your favorite meal, and a new dress if you act like a good girl. I'll even make you feel good. Euphoric. I'll give you the greatest pleasure. If only you'd behave for me.
Okay, I thought you were sweet softy baby core. What is this? Casey caressed my waist, pulling me in closer and running his hand along the length of my side.
I love you. I've always loved you. I've wanted you for a long time now.
His hot breath on my neck caused shivers of ecstasy to run down my spine. His soft lips on my sensitive flesh sent me over the edge. Casey's captive end. You are mine, sweet angel. Okay. Okay. So this game is gas. Yes. It is. It is very good. What the fudge? Now I'm like curious if that's my mother. That's my childhood friend. Who are you? Well, I guess we'll just have to find out next time, right? Bye. I'm traumatized.